it's Ronnie, and welcome to Stretch the Sketch, hosted by Janet, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube. So we will be stretching the sketch or making it smaller. And it is also Follow a Sketch February, hashtag FASFEB24, hosted by Sandie, who is Scrapping Reflections, I believe. I believe here on YouTube. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And this is a sketch we'll be using. It is for both of them. And it's by Stampin and Craftin with Cheryl Dianna. And you can tell by looking at how many photos I have, I might be going a little rogue here, but I flipped the sketch to the right. And so my line is going to go across the two pages. I will be using one of those Tim Holtz dies and also the designer dies there. I am going to use another alpha. It's down there on the bottom. And then a bunch of 49 and Market. They are from Nature Study and the Naturalist. So there is a variety there. And I will, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to put some mixed media on first. I guess my stencils are all on the bottom. And I hadn't planned to use that wheel there. I will set it over to the right and it'll disappear so I don't end up using it on the layout. I hunted, but I have no idea where it went. And these were in my Naturalist collection already cut out, so I am using them. I have got, I think, 3 or 4 stencils there. And I will use all 4 of them, but I'm going to cut using one of them out because you can't see it when the layout's done at the end. And it's the one laying there on top right now. I used Speckled Egg and Stormy Sky and put them together to try to mimic the color that's already on the background. And I wanted to get splatters on there because they're more like streaks on the background. And then I'm also going to use that bubble stencil too. I am using Mold Lawn and Peel Paint together to get the color I wanted. It matched better with my photos than either one by themselves. And so that is what I'm putting across the center of my layout for. There's like a line across there. It looks like mixed media, and that's what I was going for. However, I'm going to add a little bit more. And after the video's done, I'm going to add even a tiny bit more. I hadn't planned to do it on the video and didn't realize I never did get back to it. I even laid my brush and my plastic wrapping stuff over to the left so that I could just pick it right back up. But yeah, I forgot about it until I was editing the video. So I did go back in there and add that. And I also forgot to add more glue, and I will be using Gina Marie little stones. They look like stones to me. And I know to put glue on them after the video's over. And I forgot that, so I really had lots of reason to go back in there and add them. However, it'll just be in the photos at the end. But right before these bubble dies is when stencils. I think first, I don't even remember when I added that other stencil, but you can't hardly see it right now. And you certainly can't see it by the time I add some photos, so I just decided to cut that out because this video is kind of on the long side anyway. I am using both the Speckled Egg and the Stormy Skies for my bubbles so that I can have more of a shadowy effect. That was my idea. However, I don't know if there's more of a shadowed effect or not, but it does look like bubbles. It did enter my mind when I was editing the video to go back in there with a white gel pen and put some marks on my bubbles. However, I wasn't that energetic. I decided they looked all right the way they were. Now here's my photos. We were at Johnson Shut-ins, and there's a lot of water there, and it's running over rocks. And I had both my grandsons, the oldest 2 I had, and I did have younger grandkids at that time, but those are the ones that were with me that day. And the oldest one isn't in any of these photos. And this one's Jake. And at the end of the day, after we get done and we're walking back down the mountain, uh, he says, "Well, that wasn't much fun." I said, "What?" He says, "I didn't have much fun at all today." And I said, Casey says, "Well, he had fun. He liked it." And Jake says, "Well, I didn't." And I said, "Well, there's proof in the pudding, Casey." And he said, "What does that mean? I don't know what that means." And I said, "Well, proof in the photos. I have plenty of photos." And old folks used to say there's proof in the pudding, meaning that they had proof to prove the facts. And so I had proof to prove the facts that he was having fun that day. And he was all over the place. So I do have one of him going off the edge of the paper up there on the left. And because I had to keep telling him to get back away from people because I didn't want him splashing them. And the one with his orange shirt on and sitting there was right when we got there. And he was just going to soak his feet. But, kids can't resist. Casey managed to. But Jake was wishing for him to fall into the water and voice the words out loud. No more got him out of his mouth. Then he fell in the water. Yeah, big old splash. And I did get a picture of it. But since this double page layout is about Jake and going to go in his album with the journaling on the back about him saying he wasn't having fun. And I've got pictures where he was nonstop fun. But yeah, these are not all of them. There was plenty more, and I've scrapped a few already. I did cut each one of the photos at a different size. The one with the orange shirt is 3x4, and everything else is either shorter, skinnier, or something. So they're all, if there is two the same size, it was purely by accident. As I had said earlier, those die cuts were all from leftovers from nature, not nature study, naturalist, because that's the Iris container I found them in. And I thought, wow, I've got a bunch here. I'm going to use them. And the grass, that tall grass there, it is a sizzlet die, so it's kind of on the old side. And I am cutting them to fit in the places I wanted to. Now, you see me try to put that wood slice, and that is Tim Holtz. Cuts it out, and then you've got a folder to emboss it. And of course, they're already inked. I have two of them. And I did try to put one up there in the middle on the center line like it has in the photo, but it just didn't look right. So I didn't put it there. So I thought, well, this mushroom is a good size round piece. So I will use that as my round piece there. And instead of putting folders behind one of the photos, I put film strips here and there, and they are from the Nature Study collection. And I will be adding lots of adorable little mushrooms besides that big one. And let's see, where am I at on here? Okay, those blades of grass that are really tall, I just cut them by hand. I do have a die that cuts it, but it's a lot bigger than those pieces right there. So I know I wasn't using it at the time. There was a good variety of rub-ons in here, and I am using the mushroom one, and I will be using the one that's, I think it's called fragments. I think that's what Katie Petite calls them. And I will add some of them to the layout too. Now that big brown rub-on, well, it looked big compared to the others. I went ahead and put it on there because I thought unless I put some stuff in front of it, I probably won't use it. It's kind of on the faded side and not as sharp as some of the others. And then it's brown too, so I wanted some brown there. So you will be able to see it behind there, but probably just looking at the layout and trying to look at everything on there and maybe catching that little detail. I pulled out 3 of the blue butterflies, just to add a little bit more blue to the layout. And I did use a dark blue cardstock for my photos to make them pop a little bit more. Now, I was looking at this again and thinking, man, I want to use one of the I think they're called tree slices. I think that's what Tim Holt calls them. And so I thought, well, since it's Stretch a Sketch, I need one on the other side. So I am using the small one there. However, that bigger one, I'm going to end up using most of it over in the bottom right-hand side. But I just love using them for my outdoor layouts. And I use, what is, what is it called? Craft. It is called Crafts cardstock. And also some, well, the other part is usually it too. And I just ink the edges really well compared to the center. But it looks really good once you get some ink on there and it looks like bark. That hanging sign won't look like it's hanging too much by the time I add a few pieces on there, but it says Wander and Wonder. I don't know if I got them plain enough or not. They sound so much alike. But I had it added underneath the photo and I wanted to add the butterfly, but I wanted to add a little bit more. So yeah, I added a little branch there. And here's where I'm adding the other tree ring. And I got to look at my photo and thinking, man, it's just leaving that little teeny tiny gap at the bottom of the photo. And I didn't care much for that. So I am just adding a piece of greenery right underneath it. And I went ahead and cut that out, trying to make the video just a little shorter. So you will notice before the end of the video that there is a strip of green across there. And I'm adding, let's see, let me look at my layout. Oh, I am adding the one of the pieces of the fern, and that is, I think they're called Fancy Dyes, and they're by, I can't remember who they're by. It's on the tip of my tongue. And since I didn't use the dies today, it makes it even harder to remember. And then the little leaf die is the pink fresh one, curvy branch, and it embosses as it cuts. And I really like that you can cut it apart and make it smaller. You don't have to use the whole branch. So I cut mine usually in about 4 pieces, occasionally 5 pieces. And I'm getting pretty close to getting done with my layout. It went pretty fast once I got started. It laid on my table all week long because I couldn't decide how I wanted to do it. But finally I did, thank goodness, and it went really fast once I did. I am adding a rub on here and it says seek and find. And I will add, I'm thinking, well, let me look at my layout. No, I didn't add no green there. But I will, like I said, add in some more green. Y'all know green's my favorite. So once I was looking at it on the video, I was thinking, man, you forgot to do what you had planned. And you really will like it better if you had just a little more green. So yeah, I went back in and added some green. I am pulling out the rub-ons now and adding them. And I think after I add those, I'm not sure, I think I will just be adding the um, enamel dots around the layout and then it'll actually be done. I did add just a few rub-ons here and there. No, here I'm going to add a little teeny tiny, well, it kind of looks like a ladybug, but it's one of those where they kind of fade out. So all of it does not rub off on there. Well, all of it rubs off on there, but it's not all there. I did pull out the wooden enamel. Well, they're not enamel, but wooden dots. And then I happened to see these, and I thought, I'm going to use either these or the wood ones. And I decided to use these because they kind of reminded me of stone. They are matte, and they're also just a little bit, rough feeling like it's sand or gesso on them. And they definitely do need glue when you add them. But they did come from Gina Marie Designs, and so they're only like 2 1/4, so it's worth adding the glue to them. And this is the right side of my layout, and Yeah, the proof is in the photos. And see, I had a little bit more green underneath it. And like I said, a few more places too. And I put that little, I think it's acetate, uh, little, I think it's called specimen jars on there. And they're just as cute as they can be. I did put it at an angle so it wouldn't look like it's sitting on level ground. Um, there's the one with the big circle, and there's the left hand side. And I put the word discover down in the bottom left hand corner so it has something on the left hand side too. However, it just didn't look like it's going to fit like I wanted over towards the right. And there's the uh, bigger mushroom that I added. And that little butterfly, is the kind with the feet showing. So I thought, I'm going to put that where the feet show up really good. So I put it by the seek and find. And that's it. That's the last of it. But be sure to check everybody out down there below. There will be a playlist and a list of links for the two um, hops that's going on. And if you leave a comment below, I'll try to get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And those who already are, thank you so very, very much. And I hope you all have a happy, scrappy week. Have fun checking out the links. Bye.